South Korea national football team. The South Korea national football team, Korean 대한민국 국가대표팀, recognized as Korea Republic by FIFA, represents South Korea in men's international football and is governed by the Korea Football Association. South Korea has developed and emerged as a major football power in Asia since the 1980s and is historically the most successful Asian football team, having participated in 9 consecutive and 10 overall FIFA World Cup tournaments, the most for any Asian country. Despite initially going through 5 World Cup tournaments without winning a match, South Korea became the only Asian team to reach the semi-final stages when they co-hosted the 2002 tournament with Japan. South Korea also won 2 AFC Asian Cup titles and finished as runners-up on 4 occasions. Furthermore, the team won 3 gold medals and 3 silver medals at the Senior Asian Games. The team is commonly nicknamed the Reds by both fans and the media due to the color of their primary kit. The national team's supporting group is officially referred to as the Red Devils. History. Early history. Korea Joseon was not introduced to the sport of association football until the late 19th century. It is often said that football in Korea dates to 1882, when the Royal Navy sailors from HMS Flying Fish played a game while their vessel was visiting the ancient port. Korea became a Japanese colony in 1905 and was annexed into it outright in 1910. In 1921, the first all-Joseon football tournament was held, and in 1928, the Joseon Football Association was organized, which created a foundation to disseminate and develop football in Korea. Korean teams participated in competitions with Japanese teams from around 1926. Joseon Football Club became a de facto national team for Koreans and won the 1935 Emperor's Cup. Koreans also played for the Japanese national team, most notably Kim Yong-sik, who played for Japan at the 1936 Summer Olympics. The Joseon FA was reorganized in 1945 as Japanese occupation ended with the end of World War II. Following the establishment of the South Korean state in the late 1940s, a new Korea Football Association (KFA) was founded in 1948 and joined FIFA, the international football governing body. The same year, the South Korean national team made its international debut and won 5-3 against Mexico at the 1948 Summer Olympics in London. First World Cup team 1954. In 1954, South Korea entered FIFA World Cup qualification for the first time and qualified for the 1954 FIFA World Cup by beating Japan 7-3 on aggregate. South Korea were only the second Asian team to compete at a World Cup after the Dutch East Indies, Indonesia, and the first fully independent Asian nation to do so. South Korea lost their only 2 games by heavy margins, 9-0 against Hungary, the joint heaviest defeat in World Cup history, and 7-0 against Turkey. Their third scheduled game, against West Germany, was never played because neither were seeded in their group as per that tournament's rules. It would take 32 years before South Korea was able to participate at the World Cup finals again. Despite this poor performance, South Korea successfully rallied by winning the inaugural AFC Asian Cup in 1956. They hosted the next edition in 1960 and successfully retained the title, beating South Vietnam, Israel, and Republic of China in the process. However, the South Korean players received fake medals instead of the gold medals they had been promised and returned them to the KFA. The KFA promised to give them real medals, but this did not occur until 2019. South Korea have not won the AFC Asian Cup since 1960, something that has thus been attributed to the curse of the fake gold medals. Foundation of Yangtze 1967. In 1965, the South Korean government was hesitant to play football matches against North Korea and thus withdrew from the 1966 FIFA World Cup qualification to avoid possibly playing the northern neighbors. Kim Yong-sik, the KFA vice president at that time, had evaluated North Korea as a world-class team. This would be proven true as the North Koreans advanced to the quarterfinals at the 1966 FIFA World Cup. In March 1967, the South Korean Central Intelligence Agency KSIA founded Yangtze FC, collecting famous footballers in South Korea to train them intensively. Yangtze players received benefits like exemption from military service, long-term overseas training, and high salaries in return for intensive training. At the 1968 Summer Olympics qualification, South Korea was eliminated by goal difference, although their points were tied with Japan, the group winners. They also participated in the 1969 Asian Club Championship, finishing as runners-up. However, South Korea failed to qualify for the 1970 FIFA World Cup despite governmental support, and Yangtze was losing support as Kim Hyang UK. Yangtze was eventually dissolved in March 1970 without ever having played against North Korea. But players achieved a good result by winning the 1970 Asian Games. Golden Generation 1986. In 1986, South Korea won the East Asian Tournament of the 1986 FIFA World Cup qualification, including 2 victories against Japan in the final round, and was able to qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1954. After one of the greatest forwards of German Bundesliga at that time, Cha Bum-kun, joined the existing winning team, the South Korean squad for the 1986 FIFA World Cup was evaluated as the golden generation in their country. South Korea lost 3-1 to the eventual champion Argentina, but Park Chang-sun scored the first South Korean goal of the World Cup in the first group match. They drew 1-1 with Bulgaria and faced the defending champion Italy in the crucial last match. They conceded Alessandro Altobelli's opening goal, but Choi Soon-ho scored the equalizer outside the penalty area. However, Altobelli's second goal was followed by Cho Kwang-rae's fatal own goal, and South Korea lost 3-2 in the match, although Ha Jung-moo pulled one back. Afterwards, South Korean newscasts and journalists criticized the referee David Sacha, claiming that his judgments about situations of the game were poor, including the decision to award a penalty to Italy. South Korea redeemed their failure of World Cup success with a gold at the 1986 Asian Games. Tragedy of Marseille 1998. In 1997, Cha Bum-kun became the head coach going into the 1998 FIFA World Cup qualification. South Korea consecutively won 4 early qualifiers against Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Japan, and the United Arab Emirates, and quickly solidified their position as first place of the group. At the 1998 FIFA World Cup, they lost their first match against Mexico 3-1. Ha Seok-ju scored a deflected free kick for the opening goal, but was then sent off only 3 minutes after for an ill-advised tackle. South Korea was then thoroughly outclassed by the Netherlands, managed by Gus Hiddink, losing 5-0 in Marseille. Cha was sacked in the middle of the group stage after the loss to the Netherlands. The only South Korean player to be praised from the match was the goalkeeper Kim Byung-jae, who conceded 5 of the Netherlands' 17 shots on target. The team then managed a 1-1 draw against Belgium. Hiddink's Magic 2002. On 18 December 2000, the KFA named Dutch coach Gus Hiddink as the manager of the team for the 2002 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted in South Korea. The KFA promised him to ensure long-term training camps and authority about management of coaching staff. At the 2001 FIFA Confederations Cup, South Korean journalists criticized Hiddink and gave him a nickname ODP Pang, which means 5-0 in Korean, when South Korea lost 5-0 again in the friendly match against Czech Republic after the Confederations Cup. At the 2002 CONCACAF Gold Cup, South Korea finished in 4th place with 2 draws and 3 losses without a win. However, they showed their improvement in friendly matches against European teams just before the World Cup, finishing the preparation for the tournament successfully. South Korea co-hosted the 2002 FIFA World Cup tournament with Japan. They had never won a game in the World Cup previously, but the South Korean team achieved their first ever victory in a World Cup with a 2-0 victory against Poland when the tournament began. Their next game was against the United States and earned a 1-1 draw, with striker Ahn Jung-hwan scoring a late-game equalizer. Their last game was against the favored Portuguese side. Portugal earned 2 red cards in the match, reducing them to 9 men, and Park Jae-sung scored the winning goal in a 1-0 victory, allowing the South Korean team to qualify for the second round for the first time in their history. The team's success led to widespread euphoria from the South Korean public, with many people joining the Red Devils, which gained widespread attention with their passionate support of the team. South Korea's second-round opponents were Italy, who they defeated 2-1. The South Korean team was awarded an early penalty, but Ahn Jung-hwan's effort was saved by Italian keeper Gianluigi Buffon. Christian Vieri then scored to put Italy ahead, but Seo Ki-hyun scored an equalizer in the 88th minute, allowing the game to go through to extra time. Francesco Totti was controversially sent off for an alleged dive, and redeemed his missed penalty by scoring the winner with a headed golden goal, allowing them to advance to the quarter-final. South Korea faced Spain in the quarter-finals. Spain managed to score twice in this match, but both goals were disallowed by the referees. The game then went to the penalty shootout, where South Korea won 5-3, thus becoming the first Asian team to reach the Final Four. The South Korean team's run was halted by a 1-0 loss to Germany in the semifinals. They lost to Turkey 3-2 in the third-place match and finished the tournament in fourth place. Team captain Hong Myung-bo received the bronze ball as the World Cup's third-best player, the first Asian footballer to be awarded this. In addition, Hong was selected for the team of tournament alongside teammate Yoo Sang-chul, the first and only time Asian footballers have been named. This level of success was unprecedented for a country that had never before won a game in the World Cup. They had gone further than any Asian team and upset several established European teams in the process, leading to an increase in the popularity of football in the country. Hiddink became a national hero in South Korea, becoming the first person to be granted honorary citizenship, as well as being given a private villa. Captain Park era 2008. In 2008, South Korea chose Ha Jung-moo as their manager and Park Jae-sung as the next captain. Under Ha and Park, the South Korean team was undefeated for 27 consecutive games in 2009. At the fourth round of the 2010 FIFA World Cup qualification, they recorded 4 wins and 4 draws without a loss against North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. At the 2010 FIFA World Cup, they won their first game against Greece 2-0 with goals from Lee Jung-soo and Park Jae-sung. They then faced Argentina and suffered a 4-1 defeat, including an own goal by forward Park Chu-young. They then obtained a 2-2 draw in a match against Nigeria, with Lee Jung-soo scoring in the tournament once more and Park Chu-young redeeming his own goal from the previous game. This allowed them to make it to the second round for the first time on foreign soil. In the knockout stage, they met Uruguay, who took an early lead with a goal from Luis Suarez. South Korea equalized in the second half after Lee Chung-yong scored his second goal of the tournament, but South Korea conceded another goal by Suarez in the 80th minute. Despite maintaining the majority of the possession in the second half, South Korea was unable to equalize again and were eliminated from the tournament. Miracle of Kazan 2018. For the combined qualification matches for the 2018 FIFA World Cup and the 2019 AFC Asian Cup, South Korea won all 7 matches without conceding a goal in the second round, but following a series of poor results in the third round of qualifiers, including losses to China and Qatar. The former manager Uli Stila was sacked. Under Shin Tae-yong, the team managed to qualify as the second-placed team in their group following 2 goalless draws against Iran and Uzbekistan, sending South Korea to the World Cup for the 9th consecutive time. At the 2018 World Cup, They lost their first game against Sweden 1-0 after conceding a penalty kick. They then faced Mexico and lost 2-1 after conceding another penalty kick. However, despite their two consecutive losses, South Korea was not eliminated just yet. To have any chance of advancing, South Korea for its part did what it had to do to stay in contention and won 2-0 against Germany with goals from Kim Young-gwon and Son Heung-min, causing them to be eliminated in the first round for the first time in 80 years. Germany had 28 shots with 6 on target, but the South Korea's defense, led by keeper Jo Hyung-woo, did not concede once. However, Mexico lost to Sweden that same day, and thus South Korea ultimately finished third in the group. As a result, South Korea saved Mexico from being eliminated, and Mexican fans heavily praised the Koreans and celebrated their victory in front of the South Korean embassy. The match is also called the Miracle of Kazan in South Korea, although they dropped out of the tournament. Team image. Nicknames. The South Korea national football team has been known or nicknamed as the Taejuk Warriors Korean, Taejuk Jeonsa, and the Tigers of Asia Korean, Asia Horangi. Kits and crest. Red is the traditional shirt color of the South Korean national team, who are consequently nicknamed the Reds, while the fans are called the Red Devils. The away shirt has varied between white and blue. In 1994, the home shirt shifted from red to white, but in October 1995, red returned as home color, paired with black shorts. South Korea used to wear the South Korean flag. On 5 February 2020, the KFA announced a new, more simplistic logo. The emblem retained the tiger, albeit in a more minimalist design enclosed in a rectangular frame. Red, blue, and white, South Korea's traditional colors, have been maintained in the new logo. Kit suppliers. Kit deals. Home stadium. The South Korean national team played their first home match at the Dongdaemun Stadium on 21 April 1956. The match was a qualifier for the 1956 AFC Asian Cup against the Philippines. They currently play their home matches at several stadiums, which are also used by K-League clubs. Rivalries. South Korea's greatest rival is Japan. This rivalry is an extension of a competitive rivalry between the two nations that goes beyond football. Some matches in the past have been tainted with controversy. South Korea leads the all-time series with 42 wins, 23 draws, and 15 losses. A rivalry has also developed with Iran. The two nations have played against each other officially since 1958, totaling 33 matches as of March 2022, including 11 World Cup qualifiers. South Korea and Iran were among the strongest Asian national teams during the 1960s and 1970s. Although the teams only had one chance to play against each other in the final match of the AFC Asian Cup in 1972, they have faced each other 5 consecutive times in the quarterfinals between 1996 and 2011, with each team recording 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. Iran leads the all-time series with 13 wins, 10 draws, and 10 losses. Another major rival is Australia, and is also one of the most followed rivalries in Asia. South Korea trails behind Australia with 8 wins, 11 draws, and 9 defeats. In major competitions, South Korea won only 2 official matches against Australia, and also lost in the 2015 AFC Asian Cup final. South Korea has had great success against China, with China failing to defeat them in 28 competitive matches before finally winning a game in 2010. They also possess a strong rivalry with North Korea, though matches are infrequent due to diplomatic and security reasons. Supporters. The official supporter group of the national team, the Red Devils, were founded in 1995. Known for their passionate support, they are commonly referred to as the 12th man. Their most common chant is Daehanmin국, Korean D-Han-Minguk, literally Republic of Korea or Great Korea, followed by 5 claps. The FIFA Fan Fest was introduced at the 2002 FIFA World Cup in South Korea. Recent results and fixtures. Win draw loss fixtures cancelled or postponed. The following is a list of match results in the last 12 months, as well as any future matches that have been scheduled. 2021, 2022, all-time results. As of 29 March 2022, coaching staff, current personnel. As of 24 March 2020, manager history. As of 29 March 2022, a total of 51 managers managed South Korea during 80 appointments. Players, current squad. The following players were called up for the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualification matches against Iran and United Arab Emirates on 24 and 29 March 2022, respectively. Caps and goals updated as of 29 March 2022, after the match against United Arab Emirates. Recent call-ups. The following players have also been called up to the South Korea squad within the last 12 months. Notable former players. The following players were inducted into the KFA Hall of Fame or were selected for the Korean Best Roman 11 of all time in one or more surveys. Records. Most appearances. As of 18 December 2019, top goal scorers. As of 29 March 2022, players in bold are still active, at least at club level. Competitive record. Champions runners-up third place, fourth place. FIFA World Cup. Olympic Games, Pick Games. Football at the Summer Olympics has been an under-23 tournament since 1992. AFC Asian Cup. Asian Games. Football at the Asian Games has been an under-23 tournament since 2002. EAF Championship. Other competitions. Head-to-head record. The following table shows South Korea's head-to-head record, correct as of 29 March 2022. Honors. FIFA World Cup 4th place, 2002 Afro-Asian Cup of Nations champions, 1987 AFC Asian Cup champions, 1956, 1962. Runners-up 1972, 1980, 1988, 2015. Third place 1964, 2000, 2007, 2011 Asian Games gold medalists 1970, 1978, 1986. Silver medalists 1954, 1958, 1962. Bronze medalists 1990. Fourth place 1994 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Fourth place 2002 EAF Championship champions, 2003, 2008, 2015, 2017, 2019. Runners-up 2010. Third place 2013. Fourth place 2005 minor competitions. Korea Cup 1971, 1974, 1975, 1976, 1978, 1980, 1981, 1982, 1985, 1987, 1991, 1997. Festival of Merdeka 1960, 1965, 1967, 1970, 1972, 1975, 1977, 1978. King's Cup 1969, 1970, 1971, 1973, 1974, 1975, 1998. Jakarta Anniversary Tournament 1981. Dynasty Cup 1990. LG Cup 2000, 2001, 2006 Awards. FIFA World Cup Most Entertaining Team 2002 and 2002. AFC National Team of the Year 2002, 2009. EAF Championship Fair Play Award 2008. AFC Asian Cup Fair Play Award 2011.